looking into the future and picking winners. From the NCAA tournament to the Masters, Wimbledon, the NBA, the upcoming baseball season, and more. This is the Bettor Sports Futures Draft on BSN. Here are your hosts, Corey Parson and Nando Di Fino.
All right, what's up? Welcome to Betting the Futures, everybody, here on the Bettor Sports Network. Nando Di Fino, Corey Parson, taking you through a very unique draft. Actually, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this because we're not just going around a horn, picking our favorite futures like a round table. We're actually drafting futures with a unique format, which we'll get to in a second. First, Corey, hello.
Hey, Nando, what's going on? Definitely looking forward to the broadcast today. Definitely looking forward to the draft. I think you got a unique situation here to see where some of these guys look at the upcoming year. Last year, this time, if you were a guy that thought the Houston Astros were getting ready to go on a run, that would have been a successful wager. Same thing goes for fans of the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Golden State Warriors. So it's going to be interesting to see how the opinions of people change from one year to the next, but definitely looking forward to getting into it and seeing some of these picks. And also looking forward to breaking the picks down. Nando, I may be a little, I don't like that pick. I don't want anybody to take it personally, Nando, but I got to see, if I see it, I got to say it.
This is why we're here, for the opinions, for the opinioning. Well, actually, that's a real opining, I believe is a real word. Anyway, well, so here's the format. Instead of like, oh, I like these 5 things, it's a draft with a twist. The first round is $1. The second round is, I got to make sure I get these numbers right because I've actually played this before with different dollar values. First round is $1, second round is $10, third round is $25, fourth round is $50, and the fifth round is worth $100. So, Corey, if you got a 4-to-1 bet, say that you really like you do have to play against the other drafters, and then you have to kind of think like, all right, do I want to go 10, make this a $40 bet? Do I want to wait for my $50 round? Maybe it'll be gone. Maybe someone else is on this. Where do you follow? Like where's your strategy?
I want my highest dollar bets, Nando, to be on the actions I feel the strongest about. So say, for example, if I really like the Houston Cougars to win the NCAA tournament, they have a lower odds because they're one of the teams that's, close to the top of the favorites list right now. Yeah. I want to save my shorter value, the things that can happen. There's some pretty good ones on the board this year too. I want to save that for those heavy dollar bets, and I want to use my earlier picks where I go less money with some of my long shots, and I think those are some of them on the board too. So I think you can hit value all through each of the 5 rounds.
You and I aren't in this draft. We are commentating. But yes. If you were, like, would you go into this? I mean, you can scour every sport, obviously. You do your research like you normally would. Would you just put a list like with tiers and be like, all right, like Pete Alonso to win the National League home run title? That is my number one like slam dunk. I don't care what the odds are. I got to get that. That is like I know that's going to happen. How would you go about? Because I think, look, when people watch this, I think they're going to look at this and be like, this is like kind of like a new fantasy league that I can play with my friends, and I can, we can figure out the dollar values. You can put real money in however you want to play it, but it is kind of a fun thing to do amongst friends. So if people decide to go off and do this on their own, grab like 4 or 5 of their friends, 8, 9, 10 of them, what's the best strategy? What's the best way to put your cheat sheet together basically for this?
I think the way you want to really put your cheat sheet together is you want to try to break down and get a whole scope of the year, whether you start with, the NCAA tournament, opening day, the Masters, kind of focusing on the sports that you know and handicap best. Like, you don't have to really show your range in an environment like this. You know what I'm saying? If you handicap the NBA the best and you want to stick to that and as your futures, then go ahead and go for it that way. If your thing is Major League Baseball and you got to lean on, Max Fried or a guy like that for Cy Young or maybe, NHL, whatever the case may be, you want to kind of stay in your strength and in your wheelhouse. But I urge people, you really want to save that big money bet for more, what you think is a more sure wager. Yeah, you can take an 18, 19 to 1 in that last round and try to hit it out the park. But I would go the opposite direction right there, Nando. That's how I would look at it. So it's going to be interesting to see how they put their things together. I kind of look at it from a DFS vantage point. Take those $100.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Enter this 1,000 times.
Take that $100 bet and kind of play it like a double up. That's how I would do it.
And what are your thoughts on? I don't know if this should be in the rules. I don't think it should be. Now that I'm thinking this through, I mean, I guess this is our own little land of skipping through and making rules as we like. But like if I wanted to play it, like I'm gonna put maybe 3 guys for MVP. Like let's say like Luis Robert, Aaron Judge, and Yordan Alvarez. Would I do that in rounds 2, 3, and 4? How is that disingenuous or is that smart?
Well, it's not smart if none of them win the award. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So yeah, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Only one person can win the award, but you take 3 cracks at it. So that kind of gets you on the board, as you would say, and keep you from being, let's call it, bankrupt or on tilt by the time we get to the end of this draft or this tournament or whatever. So right. I don't know if I would go exactly that way, but that could be a way to do it, just to kind of, if everybody else craps out, then at least you got 3 shots at one winner of one award.
Right. I mean, say you got your $10, $25, and $50 ones, and you get 4-1, 8-1, and right now maybe even like 16-1. Maybe you hit one if one of them hit. I mean, the key is you're right. One of them's got to hit.
One of them has to hit if you do it that way. So maybe you want to spread it out a little bit more. I would really say kind of stick to your wheelhouse would be the way to go as far as what you like handicapping and what you think you have the edge on, because everybody's going to be different. We got different guys in here who handicap different sports. You got NHL guys in here. You got golf guys in here, Major League Baseball. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Keith Skopanich, Nick Durst, Tony LaBarbera, Tyler Soto, Adam Bernard. That's the order in which we're drafting, and those are the 5 participants that we have. Corey, would you care to handicap this draft right now as I plug my headphone back in because I'm a little excited?
Well,
hearing Tony LaBarbera's name.
Knowing a little bit of what of who the guys are and what we have right here, and kind of looking through some of the things that are on the board. I don't know. Listen, I don't want to call anybody out or put a target on anybody's back, but having spoken with Nick Durst a couple times throughout the course of the year, I think he has good range. You know what I mean? What I worry about is him being a little too New York centric. I think he has good range, but I think his New York centrism could hurt him. But I do think that he has a good depth of a number of different sports.
Adam, obviously, our producer for Corey Nando and Friends. Tony, substitute producer for Corey Nando and Friends. Man, this is gonna be fun. So $1 for the first round, $10 for the second round, $25 for the third round, $50 for the fourth round, $100 for the fifth round. Corey, if you're Keith and you got the number 1 overall pick, and we're going to bring him on in a second, hear what that number 1 pick actually is. What do you do? What do you do here? I mean, like we're on. It's Valentine's Day when we're recording this.
Yeah.
Baseball's still a little bit away. Do you mess with the World Baseball Classic? Do you get something early and easy? This is only $1 bet. I mean, what kind of odds are you looking for? How do you play this out?
So this is the $1 bet right here. Right now is where I want to take my long shot. Right now is where I want to take my swing. This area right here, Nando, I'm thinking 10-1 or better. Like if you come in here with a 5 or a 6-1 pick, you could get criticized. This first round, I want to see, let's fire it off. I want to see high dollar bets, high odds, trying to take that single $1 and turn it into a big payday. So that's what I'm looking for in round 1.
All right, let's bring Keith in. Keith, welcome to the draft. Glad you're here.
We're all guys, excited. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, man? What's going on?
What's up, Keith?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited about this because the $1 bet I think is the most fun bet you could have. Yes. There's no pressure on this. So I went really wide with my pick. Are you guys ready for me to reveal it? Or
yeah, go right ahead, man. Let's pull up the draft board. Right. Keith, make your pick.
All right. So I'm going Bryce Harper MVP on $1, 8,000 odds. And I think the reason I think this has a shot to win is because he is a former MVP. He's a great player. He's coming back from a UCL injury. He's going to come back in the middle of the season. And if he comes and he rakes, there's going to be no other story about the Phillies going into the playoffs and taking charge. It's not a lock. It's far from a lock, but it's probably a really exciting bet to watch. I think I'll have a lot of fun playing it later this season.
Corey, I think this fits your criteria. I would quote unquote ballsy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think it's a fun bet. I think what you want to do is definitely you want to shop around and get the best odds that you can, right? Because I think you could probably get this for a little bit better than 8-1. Matter of fact, I'm sure you can. But I like the strategy, taking a player who, Nando, the most important thing, he's been there before. He's done it before. He's won this award previously. So he's won this award previously. He's coming as a good number. So listen, I like it. I think it's one of the better $1 bets that you can have going into this season.
Did you go ahead? Go ahead, Keith.
I was just going to say I've definitely done worse things with $1.
Is this, this reminds me a little bit, Corey and Keith, Brock Purdy. We just got Brock Purdy had that late season surge, could have, entered the Rookie of the Year category a little bit late. This is kind of like the same kind of idea. Like if you're going to make an impact, obviously he didn't win, but if you're going to make an impact, like Bryce Harper's the kind of guy who's going to make that impact.
The injury makes the odds longer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're really taking the injury, which is a negative thing, and using it for an advantage because that makes the odds longer on a player who has the talent to clearly win the award.
And maybe he shows up earlier.
Oh, then look at that. Put it like this, Nando. This is how you kind of want to judge or grade the wager. If it starts out the season at 12-1, by the time you're at the All-Star break, if it's 3-1, 4-1 in that range, you're going in the right direction.
All right, Keith, we like it. We love it.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah, I'd say excellent pick.
I think it's going to be the story of the baseball season if he comes back and carries the Phillies to a wild card or first place, and then they make some noise in the playoffs. I mean, we already know they're a good enough team to make some noise, so why not? Let's give it a shot.
Corey and I used to talk cards on the show, and I was just going through my pile of Bryce Harper's when he had that late season surge, my Bryce Harper stained glass. Let's bring up Nick Durst for pick number 2. I don't know, Corey, any predictions here? Nick Durst, you said very New York centric. So you think it's an Aaron Judge pick, maybe?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. Obviously, with Nick behind the controls making the picks, I think at some point we'll probably get a New York Met pick. Now, you can say that's being a homer, or listen, you can really be into the New York Mets. They're coming into a season where they have short odds to win the National League, pretty decent odds to win the World Series. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Nick, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? There'll be some New York flavor, but I'm going coast to coast. I'm going global. If I get my picks, I think Corey's going to be right. I'll win this draft, no doubt about it.
Okay, so what's your pick? What are we doing?
Right. So my first pick, I am going to stay in New York, but it's not like a crazy homer bet. I'm going Pete Alonso to lead Major League Baseball in home runs. I can get this at plus 900. Are you kidding me? Pete Alonso, top 5 in home runs every single year in the league, the most home runs in the league since he entered in 2019. I get Aaron Judge had an all-time season, but what are the chances that Aaron Judge is going to hit 60 home runs again? I don't think that's going to happen. He averages around 40 per year, and he'll be in that range. Kyle Schwarber last year had a monster year for the Phillies, led the NL in home runs, but this year he's not leading off anymore. They got Trey Turner. He's going to lead off. And then that means Schwarber is going to be pitched around. He's in the power spot, but Bryce Harper is not going to be behind him for the first half of the season. So they're going to pitch around him. I think this is a great value bet here for $1.
Yeah,
that's good research.
This is fantastic $1 bet. And Nick kind of broke everything down that you like about the pick. Player who finished third in this category last year. You're getting him at an excellent number coming into this year. And see, now let's compare this wager to the Harper wager. Alonso is not starting off the season hurt. So he has that advantage right there in this wager that he's not banking on a player that's already injured. So if Alonso, who's starting the season healthy, can remain healthy, this is one right here where you can see by the All-Star break, this goes from 9-1 to about 2 or 3-1.
This would be interesting. I remember when I did this the first time, a few years ago, whatever. I had picked Alonso to win the National League home run title. I was just trying to pull up the futures. It's not up yet, at least not on DraftKings in my quick check. But Nick, would you be at all tempted, like later on, to double down and do Pete Alonso to lead the National League in home runs? Like it's so. I mean, it's probably not great odds because
absolutely. I mean, if you think he's going to win for the whole league, then you have to double down with the NL. I think what I would be more tempted to kind of double down with here would maybe be Alonso for NL MVP. He led the league in RBIs last year. It's a long shot. For some reason, he doesn't really get too much credit. He hits pretty average. 270 is a pretty good average, but with Goldschmidt and Arenado and Freeman, his defense kind of gets pushed down. So that's kind of where I maybe would double down more. But yeah, I went overall MLB here because it's a longer shot, and for $1, let's make that money stretch.
All right, nice. A couple nice picks early on. Tony LaBarber's got the third pick. So far, we got a couple National League MLB picks. Remember, this is a draft open up to basically anything. Yeah. Tony. Well, Tony's coming up in a second. Tony will be up here in 1 second. Tony, what's happening, man?
What's up, fellas?
Tony, are you gonna triple this up with a MLB bet, or what direction are we going in right now?
No, I'm going to throw it over to the NBA, and I am going to go with Ja Morant to win the MVP at plus 4,500 odds.
I'm just going to turn my microphone off and take these off and let Corey go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, listen, everybody knows I'm big Ja Morant fan, big Ja Morant supporter. Obviously, Morant, he has some things in his favor as far as, the team he plays for, the Memphis Grizzlies, could finish the season as a top seed in the Western Conference. If he does that, you'll see those odds come down. The talent, the way he scores the basketball, he's clearly the man on the Memphis Grizzlies, who are clearly one of the better teams in the Western Conference right now. Now, here's the thing. I think Morant has an MVP in his future. I don't believe this is an MVP season for Morant. Now, if I'm going to take a shot in the first round, it's going to be the time to take the shot. You take that $1 bet, you put it on Morant to win the MVP. Now, you're dealing with Jokic, you're dealing with Embiid, you're dealing with Giannis. You never know. Jason Tatum gets hot again. Now, for the
throw
bet
LeBron in there,
hit,
narrative man, right?
LeBron for the narrative. Now, for the bet to hit, Morant is going to have to be very good down the stretch of the season. The Grizzlies getting that 1 seed helps him, but I think it's a tough wager to hit. But I do like the pick.
So part of my
Ja
reasoning
Morant
with that is going to be the NBA MVP fatigue with Jokic. So that's kind of with the Joker. That's kind of my thought behind throwing it out there. It's only $1, getting that value out there. And then we've had the Joker win it the past 2 years, Giannis 2 years in a row before that. So you go down the board and throw a little bit. Ja's averaging career highs in points, rebounds, and assists this year. So make a little run towards the end of the season. You never know.
Yeah, Corey, that kind of happened actually with it is my belief that there was Shohei Ohtani fatigue in baseball. I mean, Aaron Judge won the MVP, but he doesn't pitch. You know what I mean? Like at an elite level. I don't know. That could be. I don't know if that works for the NBA side. Baseball writers seem a little more haughty than the NBA ones. But.
Well, here's the thing: Embiid can get hurt, Jokic can get hurt, and what we've seen in the NBA is that award can change in the second half of the season, as fatigue and injuries come on. The fatigue of the voters. I think, though, when it comes to the fatigue of the voters, I think it benefits somebody else. I don't want to say no names. I don't want to editorialize. The pick could still be on the board. So I think it benefits someone else more so than it benefits Morant.
All right, let's see what happens. Let's go to Tyler Soto next with the 4th pick in our futures draft. A couple baseballs, 1 NBA. Tyler Soto, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? First off, left hand up for the Commanders. Sad season. Hope they rebound.
I hope you're not going there.
No. Not going there. But I will say, we are going to go back to baseball with my pick. It's going to be MLB centric.
All right.
Let's have it.
All right. So my first pick for $1, the Atlanta Braves to win the World Series at plus 1,000. My thinking with this is that everybody's going to pick the Astros, so there's that. But then you look at the National League, I don't fully trust the Mets yet. I don't think the Dodgers did enough in the offseason to basically get back to the World Series. So those are the only 2 National League teams ahead of them. And then the American League teams, like I said, the Astros. Then you have the Yankees ahead of them, and I just don't see that happening either. The Braves and the Astros played the World Series 2 years ago, and the Braves gave them all they can handle. And they're always like that pesky little thorn in your side. So I think they do it again.
The Braves are, despite the longish odds, Corey, they are the 5th favorite. Astros, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Braves. We know, Yankees and Dodgers get thrown in there just because of the Yankees and Dodgers. Or at least that's how it used to be in the Vegas days. It's interesting, man. this is my own fault, and I probably shouldn't admit it on a program like this, but like I haven't really checked in on the Mike Soroka status, see where he's at. A lot could hinge on Mike Soroka, really.
I mean,
his terrible injury history.
Yeah, it can. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't checked in on that either. But I mean, they just have an absolutely young core. They've locked up all these dudes for the next 6-7 years. Their front office is absolutely amazing, and they've given me every reason to believe in them. So I'll just keep going until they don't make me believe them anymore.
Well, here's the thing: you have a team right here that you know can win it because we've already seen them do it, and you're getting them at long shot odds. And what I like about it too is the teams ahead of them, Nando, are the heavy hitters. They're the favorites. They're the guys that odds makers know the Yankees are going to draw money. The Dodgers are going to draw money. They know that Houston's going to draw money. You know that the Mets are going to draw money as well. So now you come to Atlanta, kind of floating under the radar behind those. I guess we call them the blue bloods of Major League Baseball wagering. You got Atlanta hiding back there, who's already won a championship. The Mets haven't done it. The Yankees haven't done it. So that right there should show you that it's a good wager, and I think it closes out a solid first round. What I like, Nando.
Well, we got one left. We got one more left.
So far, everyone is stuck to the script as far as taking that big shot with that $1 wager.
All right, Tyler, this is not a snake, so we'll see you in a little bit. A lot sooner than we would have if it were. Adam Bernardo, producers coming up. Corey, real quick, I just want to these MLB futures odds. I'm looking at DraftKings. Astros, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Braves, Padres, obviously. Then it's the Blue Jays, and then it's the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
At 17-1. The Seattle Mariners are the 8th most likely team to win the World Series according to betting odds right now.
Yeah, no, and I talked to some bookmakers coming into the draft, and I got some interesting stats and numbers as far as how wagers look going into the season for the Seattle Mariners. So I think there is some popularity behind this team, but I do think there's some issues, and I think we can get into some of those as we move throughout. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing, well, let's bring Adam in, and then we can close up this first round.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Hey.
So I go from working with you 6 days a week to forgetting that I'm even on the clock to close out round one.
Sorry, Adam.
I miss you.
We wrapped that up before. You were just a bonus pick, Adam.
Yeah.
Well,
Adam, where are you going here? Are you staying true to the 8-1 or better odds for the first round?
Close to that, yeah. I'm actually gonna, and I know, stick to your wheelhouse with your strengths, and there's definitely gonna be some hockey picks later. I'm gonna go NBA here, and I'm gonna take the Milwaukee Bucks to win the championship, the NBA championship at +600. When you look at and Corey, you are somebody that gets a lot of mileage out of your NBA League Pass, so please cut me off this NBA layman and tell me if I'm wrong with anything I'm saying here. The West is going to be an absolute dogfight, rounds 1 through all the way to conference finals.
Yes.
Okay. In the East, there legitimately is 3 teams that could win it. Cleveland is more likely to be in the mix next year. It's Boston, Milwaukee, or Philadelphia out of the East.
And I would say that Philadelphia is not really in the mix because of their head coaching situation. So, no. So, what the Bucks, I like to, well, here's the deal. Let me break it down like this. What the Bucks give you is good hedge equity because I think we can say that the Bucks will at least be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then you can start to wager against it, whether it's Boston and even on into the next round. You got a team that's won the championship already. What I don't like, though, Adam, I'll be honest with you, I don't like the 6-1 odds. I think if you wanted to take a shot on somebody in the East to possibly make and win the finals, I would have tried to look for a little bit longer odds, or I would have saved this wager until the second or third round. It's probably the way I would have gone to get a little bit more bang for your buck. That's how I would have played it. That would be my only criticism of the selection.
Yeah, stick to hockey, man.
Not saying that.
We'll come back to that.
No, you know what? I trust me. Adam is going to be very competitive in this one. I know that for a fact.
So I've just been
prop Super Bowl prop challenge for what it's worth. So
All right, there you go.
This is not the place to brag. This is futures, not backwards. I've been told this is a snake. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break to have a nice clean end of the first round. We're going to come back. Adam's going to be – sorry, Keith. We'll talk to you like a half hour. But we're going to come right back to our snake futures draft. Adam's going to rejoin with what I assume will be a hockey bet, as he foreshadowed. Corey Parson, Nando Di Fino. We'll be back. Break. See you in a minute.
Bettor Sports Network. Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing shot to short. Ramirez has it. Throws. Burley picks a perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ. Lays it in. Right up, 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up and in. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side. Has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season. The 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the Bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP Dodge. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the banking. They're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downey, swinging, there's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Bettor Sports Network.
This is the Bettor Sports Futures Draft on Bettor Sports Network.
Swing and a drive, left field. It's deep. It's going. Yes. And it is gone. Yes. It is bedlam at the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top. Lots of cracks, one to deep left field. Encarnacion looks off, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso goes deep. Morant against McConnell. Pick and roll. Morant. Oh, my word. Holy cow! Driven to right field, out there towards the corner. That is a fair ball home run! A 3-run homer by Eddie Rosario.
Now back to your hosts, Corey Parson and Nando Di Fino.
Thanks to MLB and NBA TV for those clips. Corey Parson, before we start the second round, let's recap the first real quick. We got Bryce Harper for MVP, despite playing maybe half a season, maybe a little more. Pete Alonso to lead the league in home runs. Ja Morant MVP, the Braves to win the World Series, and the Milwaukee Bucks to take it all in the NBA. Thoughts?
Yeah, great start. Great start to the draft. I think we definitely see everybody kind of stay within the spirit of the draft. I think the Pete Alonso pick was the best pick of this round, followed by the Bryce Harper pick. So I think we're off to a good start. So far, those are the two I like the best. But Good start so far. A lot of baseball, so it's going to be interesting to see what we get coming up. Because parity on a lot of these sports, but when you look at some of these player awards, I think it's interesting as well. So I think we're off to a good start.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some. I want to see how obscure we can get here too. These are just futures of anything. You go through a sports book, and there's a lot. You could do darts if you want. You can mess around with cricket if you'd like. And there's some fun odds there that maybe attract some fun people. All right, we're snaking this draft, so let's go back to Adam. This is the $10 round now. Corey, what's the move in the $10 round? We do some 4-to-1 stuff.
All right, so now I think you want to start to see. Yeah, you kind of want to get into that mid-level range. I would say. I think you are now. You want to come and you want to slowly, as you work your way down through your picks. You want to become more conservative in your odds as these bets get a little bit bigger. And then once again, sticking to your wheelhouse. So we'll see if Adam goes to the NHL.
Yeah, let's see, Adam. What are we gonna do here?
All right, I'm not going to the NHL yet. I'm going to go over to the Diamond, and I'm going to take the San Diego Padres to win the National League at plus 450. I love that heart of the lineup with Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, and Juan Soto in the 2 spot there. They just picked up Michael Wacha to help the back end of the rotation. They also got Matt Carpenter there, who I think can have a nice fit in the bottom of the lineup the way he did with the Yankees. So, like Tony said earlier, LA didn't really do enough to, keep up there. So I think San Diego's got a path. Obviously, the Braves and the Mets and an NLCS would be tough, but I think this is San Diego's year to get there, at least get to the World Series.
Adam, did you look at this like I like the Padres, but I'm kind of afraid of the Astros, the Yankees, and that's not why I'm going to go all in for the World Series? Or did you look at this like the field in the National League is weak enough where I feel very comfortable going with the Padres just for the National League right now?
I mean, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I mean, I'm a Yankee fan. I can't put money. I know, I could put money on the Astros. I would prefer not to. And I think this is a way of keeping some interest. I'm out on the West Coast too. So now, flipping around. I got 3 innings left in the Padres game. I'm going to watch to the end now. Keep it interesting.
All right. Worse reasons have been given. Corey, Padres super team, or is this like possible bust written all over it?
No, Padres super team. I think they're going to be in it. I think they'll be in it till deep in the season. I think you'll have a chance to win this. Now and hit this wager right here. What I would say is, we talk about odds decreasing as the year goes on. So this could probably fluctuate up and down. I can see them going to 6-1 at some point, maybe hit 7-1, then maybe creeping back down. Do they go out and dominate the National League from opening day to the end of the season? I doubt that. So, but I think it's a solid pick right here, a popular pick. And listen, the Padres are definitely going to be a team in the mix.
I could see them going like 18-2 to start the season, and this being something like maybe you want to consider selling on prop swap. You know what I mean? Like this could be negative by the time May hits. Possibly. All right, cool. Thanks, Adam. Let's go to Tyler, who had the Braves very much at odds with Adam's picks. The Braves to win the World Series. Tyler, aka Heavy T, here in our back end. Okay, Braves to win the World Series. Corey, what do you do? Does that play into your second pick at all? Or you're just like, screw it, man. Let me just give you my top 5.
Well, obviously,
stay away from baseball. What do you do?
Well, I think you can come back to baseball, but you already have a World Series pick. So if you're going to go to baseball, you're probably going to go to the player award market, or maybe you shoot back around and you come into a single league, or National or American League, and that's where you can get some of your shorter odds to come down off that swing. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does here. But see, here's the thing with baseball, right?
Yeah.
Is if the Final Four is the Mets, the Padres, the Yankees, and the Astros, would you be surprised? So in baseball, what you're doing is you're taking swings, and I get it, but you're also in a sport where you can already have a predetermined Final Four.
All right, let's bring him in, man. Tyler Soto. What are you gonna follow up your Atlanta Braves with? Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm actually gonna go. I believe this will be the first football pick in the draft. So I am going to go Ohio State to win the championship at plus 750. So my thinking behind this is it's going to be really tough for Georgia to pull a three-peat. Also, Ryan Day had them on the brink of elimination. If it wasn't for that super wide field goal at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Day, they would have won that game. So I don't know if Georgia three-peats. Gonna be entirely honest, and I might be one of the only people saying this. I don't know if I really trust Alabama all that much anymore. They've come up short kind of past couple years. And then the teams behind them, I don't fully believe in Michigan all that much yet. USC does not play defense, and then Clemson's right behind them as well, and I just don't see that happening. So Ohio State.
Corey, this could pay $750. What do you think?
So this is
no wait. I'm sorry. This is $750. My bad. This could pay $75.
So I would have. Let me give you a little bit. This is how I think it's not my favorite pick. Let's be honest. Off the top, it's not my favorite pick. Now, Ohio State should be in the college football playoff, which is true, right? But I would want longer odds on this, considering the dominance of Georgia, Alabama. And I think there's another college football team out there. If I was in this draft, my first pick would have been LSU at 8-1 to win the college, 18-1 to win the college football national championship. They were in the SEC championship last year. They were probably a win away from the college football playoffs. I think the SEC could take 3 teams. Ohio State could very well be that 4th team. I just would have wanted Ohio State at 10-1 or better. I wouldn't have mind flip-flopping these two, making Ohio State the first-round pick and coming back to the Braves with the second-round pick, because I think Atlanta has a better shot at winning the World Series than Ohio State does to win the national championship.
Do you think enough people if you believe LSU could win the national championship, do you believe enough people still hate the coach where that could be actually pretty good value because there's no one wants to bet on him to be coach of the year?
Listen, that's something it's out there, and that could be why the odds are so long. But that 18-1, his first year, he had the team in the SEC championship game in his first year. They don't have that mistake, slip up, late season loss. They could have been in the college football playoff. No matter what you think about Brian Kelly, he's a good head coach. And at 18-1, I think that should have been a first-round pick. Now, it's still out there. It still could come. You know what I'm saying? But I would have took that. But, still, I'm not trying to play you, Heavy T. You know what I'm saying? Solid pick. What I do like about it is Ohio State will be in the college football playoff. So it does have a shot at cashing.
All right, well, come back to me next January. We'll talk. All right.
Yeah, no, and then
that's where exactly. Thank you.
And then you had the receipts for me.
All right, man. Let's move along to Tony LaBarbera, famously like John Morant to win the MVP award, kissing up to host Corey Parson with his $1 pick. Tony, what are you going to do with your second round pick here? Hey, Tony, what's your sport? What's your area of expertise?
I'm a big football guy. Still mourning my Eagles loss here, but I do like golf. That's kind of the odd sport that not a lot of guys go. That's actually where I'm going to go with my second round pick. I am going to go Xander Schauffele to win the U.S. Open this year at plus 1,700 odds. I'm going to throw $10 on that.
You will have to explain why. Is it the course? What is it?
I thought I might. So I got a few stats here. So he's played.
We know who he is.
He's played 4 times this year. He withdrew from his first tournament at the beginning of the year, but since then, in the 3 tournaments, he hasn't finished outside of the 13th. And the one thing about U.S. Open courses is they are set up extremely difficult. You may have heard they always grow the rough real high. They're very, very difficult courses. You won't see a 20 under, 25 under win at a type of course like that. At a type of course like this, they're going to play at the LA Country Club this year. That'll be even par, maybe a couple under par. Maybe even a couple over par with how they'll have the course set up. And that is his specialty. He likes hard courses. He really succeeds and thrives at hard courses. And that's his one thing. Also, at U.S. Opens, he's played 5 times in the U.S. Open. He's finished in the top 6, 4 of them. So he's kind of that guy right now who's labeled the best player to never win a major. So I think he breaks that this year.
Hey, Tony, we have a golf. Oh, by the way, Corey used to host a golf. Actually, Corey, you go ahead. Corey used to host a golf show. So
yeah. No, listen, I think this is a good shot right here too, because it does seem like he's getting ready to break through. And the U.S. Open, as Tony mentioned, has been a tournament that he has performed well at. I think the numbers is a good number with 17 to at 17-1. Now, my thing is this though, he's never done it before, right? So even though he's getting close, he's never done it before. As a matter of fact, has he ever won a major?
No majors, but he has won. He does have an Olympic gold medal in 2020.
Right.
Okay. That's something that the golf world we're building up. But he does have that pressure of being in the final round, playing some of the top guys against the world. So that would be his closest thing as of right now.
Corey, a bit of a negative Nancy in the second round so far.
No, I'm saying no.
I know. I'm joking.
He's never won a major. Let me ask you.
No better time than the present.
If this bet does not cash, why? Who is going to be the person to stop him?
I mean, John Robb's on a tear right now. Scotty Scheffler is on a tear right now. Even Rory McIlroy has a lot of form right now. So those top guys, the tour did something this past year to kind of combat the live golf stuff. If you guys have heard about the headlines with that in the past year, they have these things called elevated tour events. They have, I think, 14 of them, 12 of them this year, where a lot more of the top guys are playing in events than they have in the past. So a lot more guys, guys in the top 10, top 20, where they would skip a lot of these early season events. They're playing in a lot more of those right now. So Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, a guy like Rory, those guys are all into form heading into a major season.
I wonder, Tony, sorry, go ahead, Corey.
If it happens, he'll probably win the competition. If this bet hits, Tony will probably win.
We talk about exploiting, knowledge bases sometimes here with betting. I just wonder, like, if you have a theory about, like, what Tony's talking about, live versus the tour, and you roll with it, maybe you have like a few months of being ahead of the crowd and ahead of the odds right now, like how these things are going to play out. Maybe the elevated tournament is the way to kind of attack it. I don't know. Anyway, you know me, Johnny Golf. All right, thanks, Tony. Let's see in a little bit. Tony at the wheel in the middle of the round here. Let's go to Nick Durst with his $10 bet. Nick took Pete Alonso to win the home run title in his first $1 round. Nick, what's up, man?
Well, I want to thank Corey for saying that I had the best pick of the first round. I tend to agree, obviously. We'll see here in the second round. I'm going right up your alley, guys. And this is where it comes into knowing your competition. I got to make this pick before we get back around to Adam. I'm going with the NHL, and I got to take the Boston Bruins to win the Stanley Cup at plus 450. Here's the reason why, guys. Best team in the NHL this season with over 80 points. No other team has 80 points on the season. They only have 8 losses this season. We're already well past the All-Star break here by a week or two. They've scored the most goals this season in the league. They've given up the least amount of goals this season in the league. They're the favorites right now in the NHL to win, but I'm getting great odds here for a $10 bet. It's better value here than betting on one of the favorites in the NBA or in MLB. So I'm very comfortable here taking this pick here at this time.
Yeah,
I don't the NHL. I don't know, Corey. Yeah,
and listen, I don't want to sound like, you know what I mean? Like, how you do the draft day grades, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to sound like I'm patting my own back because I handicapped this as Nick was going to be an issue. This right here is the best pick so far, right? And you got it.
The Bruins to win the Stanley Cup.
Nando, this is good enough to be a fifth round pick because this has been flying under the radar. They are running away with the NHL this year. He mentioned the 80 points. They had it in 47 games. It's like this is almost like in a special historic season that the Boston Bruins are having right now. So this is a very good pick right here. I thought to myself when I was handicapping and going through some of the stuff, and I saw this number, and I was like, I would have thought this would have been minus money the way the Bruins are playing right now. So good pick right here, but also good strategy to kind of stay away from Adam with it. You know what I mean? So because it could have been something that hit his board. And you're right, this is better than any NBA future you could have made right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I was shocked to see plus odds. I thought it was going to be minus, but I'd rather take plus 450 on the favorite in the NHL than say plus 350 on the favorite in MLB, because MLB is a crapshoot. NBA, the same thing. A lot of teams that can win in those two leagues this year.
Corey, here's an interesting thing. We now have 5 team futures and 4 player futures. So as we move along to Keith, we were tied right before that. So I wonder, like, this is kind of like going back and forth with team player, team player, team player. Let's see which way Keith goes here at the end of the snake. End of the second round. We'll hit a quick break. We'll come back to we'll hit the end of the we'll come back, recap the second, hit the third with Keith back up. But Keith, what are you gonna do with the partner to this Bryce Harper? Corey, I mean, how much risk can you bake into these picks right now? Like, Bryce Harper is a risky, ballsy pick. Do you have to come back now and be like, this one's gonna be a little more grounded? I think.
I would think we would go a little bit more grounded right here, but Keith is approaching the podium, and let's listen.
He keeps laughing already, so I don't think.
Listen. I'm gonna start off this before I even make my pick. I'm gonna criticize everyone's first round pick. If you want to be safe with your bets, why don't you just put your money under a mattress? Because, like, let's be honest, like, you're gonna win $10 on a what did Nick bet? I'm sorry, I can't see it from here.
The Brewers win the Stanley Cup, and Peter.
Why you bet $1? Why even bet the dollar? It's like you're gonna win $10. But all right, so my next pick, it is a player, so I'm keeping with the rhythm of everything.
How about that?
He did not win an Olympic gold medal, so so I'm picking Max Fried for the Cy Young, plus 1,200. And listen, he was number 2 in Cy Young voting last year. He lost to Sandy Alcantara. The only difference between him and Sandy Alcantara, if you look at their stats, it's the batting average of balls in play. He has a 290 batting average of balls in play, as opposed to Sandy Alcantara, who's 230. I think Sandy Alcantara comes back to earth. I think Max Fried is better than that. The average batting average of balls in play is 300. I think he's going to go back down. He's going to be in contention for that. I'm a Mets fan. I'm a self-loathing Mets fan. Max Scherzer isn't going to win it. Justin Verlander isn't going to win it. So I'm going with Max Fried because, listen, he's got the potential to pull it off.
Well, at least you know the 2 Mets won't win it. They'll be hurt. And I see your Jets blinking in the background. But I do think this is a good pick right here. You're getting these 12-1 odds, good odds on a good number. Like you said, finished second last year, finished 5th in 2020. Plays on a team that's going to be relevant deep into the season. I like this pick a lot.
I find it interesting that a Mets fan it's almost like, if we didn't know better, you were trying to jinx all the other teams in the division with their Bryce Harper for MVP and Max Fried for Cy Young. Like, yeah, okay. That sounds great. Sounds like a Mets fan.
$11 for a World Series, it's worth it. No problem.
Fake money. Yeah, this works out well.
Yeah, it does.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the third round. That's a $25 round. We'll kick it back off with Keith. Corey, real quick, any thoughts here so far? Like, have you, like, I got a little grid going, but I haven't really been able to map out who I really like the most yet.
I think with the teams 1 and 2, Keith and Nick, I think have both come out strong in these first 2 rounds. Going to be interesting to see where they go with the next 3 picks, and then we'll see if Tony, Tyler, and Adam, can possibly find something to hit a home run. No pun intended. So listen, so far so good, but I think Keith and Nick are battling it out right now as far as perception of the picks so far.
All right, we got the $25, the $50, and the $100 rounds left. We're going to take a quick break here, betting the futures on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got hurt. We'll never know that for sure either.
No, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
To get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he'd finish with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man. Yeah. So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Hand the ball inside Williams. Powering forward, drives the legs and scores for Ohio State.
This is the Bettor Sports Futures Draft on Bettor Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. Bettor Sports Network, betting the futures. Thanks to ESPN, college football for that. NCAA football on ESPN, that is. All right, Corey, we're through two rounds.
Let's do it.
We got three left, the $25, the $50, the $150 round. Let's go to Keith. Let's bring Keith back in. Keith,
what I notice is we're starting to get some Keith and Nick. I feel some tension. I feel some chippiness. I think we've identified two people that kind of have targeted each other. So it's going to be interesting to see if they start taking shots at each other throughout the course of the draft. Keith, you are up for pick number 3.
Listen, so someone stole my $25 pick. I think it was Tyler with the Padres to win it. But I'm going to another super team, and that's going to be the Phoenix Suns to win it all. Plus 425. I think that team is stacked, and there's going to be very little other teams can do. Kevin Durant coming to that team. Yeah, he's still, rehabbing his injury, but he'll be back. And listen, I'm not scared. They're already lined up to be the 4th seed against the Mavericks. I don't think Doncic can overtake Durant, Chris Paul, and Booker by himself. I mean, Kyrie is, whatever, fine. Hopefully there's no protests that go on that weekend. And, I think they're going to win it all.
Corey, what's the general consensus in the bet? You're tapped into the basketball betting world and lines. Like, what is the general consensus for Denver now with Durant? Is it that they're going to win the whole thing, or is
Denver's the favorite? The Phoenix Suns are the favorite to win the Western Conference. Phoenix Suns are the favorite to win the Western Conference after this move. They have the second shortest odds to win the NBA championship. This is a great bet right here, particularly in this round right here. The one thing that I would caution is the health of Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. And I would also caution, we haven't seen Chris Paul ever win a championship. So there's some, historical things that go along with that. But I like this bet a lot, especially in this round. And what I like about it is you have a player in Kevin Durant with a clear mission. He wants to dethrone the Golden State Warriors as the Western Conference champions. And now you put him on a team that can do it. I like this pick a lot.
All right.
And it's good hedge equity. And it's good hedge equity too, Nando, because they'll be in the conference finals. So you can hedge against them. You get to the NBA Finals. So this is a good pick, and it's a good round for this pick.
Keith, you're balancing out. You've gone the Harper half a season MVP, Max Fried, which logically was very sound at 12-1 was great, and now the Suns, right after the Durant trade, being like, yeah, they're gonna win. This is I see how we're almost normalizing as we get closer to the big money rounds here.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's going to get a little more conservative as we spend more money, I think.
Yeah.
Let's go to Nick Durst. Nick's got Pete Alonso. I wrote this all back. I got the backwards and the forwards because of the snake here. Pete Alonso and I want to see the Bruins to win the NHL Stanley Cup. Nick, what's number 3, man?
I'm a little surprised Keith didn't go with a Washington National for Rookie of the Year, just staying in the NL East there. But Keith's coming for me, so I'm going to
count out CJ Abrams.
Keith's coming for me, so I'm going to counteract his last pick, and I think my pick here will cancel that one out, which will ultimately be the reason why I win this draft. I'm going with the Denver Nuggets to win the Western Conference at plus 325. This is the best team in the Western Conference. They're going to get the 1 seed. You know what I'm saying, Corey? They have the best player in the NBA, the MVP, Nikola Jokic. He deserves a 3-peat. He's the best player in the world right now. And there's a ton of reasons why here. The Warriors, they're actually going to miss Wiseman a little, who could have attempted to guard Jokic. Maybe not too successfully, but at least the big body in there. And you mentioned it a minute ago here. What Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, what they do best in the playoffs is they get hurt. They're going to be hurt. No doubt about it. Happened last year. These guys, none of them have played over 40 games this season. The most is Durant at 39. The same can be said about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They're going to get hurt as well. They always do. The Lakers, they won't even make the playoffs. And if they do, Anthony Davis, he'll get hurt too. So a lot of injuries there. It's an easy path for the Nuggets to the finals, I think. When push comes to shove, Kyrie Irving is going to do what he does best, and that is implode the team somehow. So for my money here, I think there's some good odds here for a $25 bet.
Listen, this is a solid wager right here. Now, I would put Phoenix and Dallas in the Western Conference Finals, right? I think the Nuggets are the odd team out. You mentioned the injuries. Nobody gets more hurt than Michael Porter Jr., but obviously Jamal Murray and Jokic are the big players right here. Right now, currently, the best team in the Western Conference for the majority of the season after the trade deadline. I think you see a shift with Dallas and Phoenix, but still solid right here. I think these first 2 picks of this round, Nando, the Phoenix pick by Keith and the Nuggets pick by Nick, will probably determine how this draft finishes. How this contest finishes.
We're starting to talk about this is $25 round for the multiples. For those of you just joining us on this, as the drafts go round by round, we increase the dollar value of the bets. So you do have to play around a little bit with the odds versus what you can turn it into. Yeah. These are big multipliers, I guess, right now.
Yeah. So you'll see it. Listen, and then you got it. It's like this. The Suns can't win the finals without winning the West. Right. And in order to win the West, the Nuggets have to be in it. So you see what I'm saying, Nano? These 2 picks right here are very important.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Let's go to Tony. Let's see if Tony's right here in the middle. Very easy to keep track.
Adam's pick in round 1 of the Bucks kind of factors in here too. That's why I would have liked a little bit more juice behind that pick if I was Adam. Go ahead.
Tony, welcome back.
Fellas, I am going for my 3rd pick. I'm going to go the San Diego Padres to win the whole damn thing.
There we go.
Plus 1,000 odds. For all the reasons that Tyler mentioned earlier for them to win the NL pennant, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm also going to add the Dodgers have lost a lot of talent. They've added some talent too, but it's a lot of old guys who kind of are past their prime. The Giants, no one even wants to play for the Giants. We'll sign them, and then they're not signed and all that. So I think they've got a kind of clear path for that division. I think the past couple seasons will help them as far as falling short, all the expectations. I think they'll kind of fly under the radar a little bit throughout the season, and then finally be able to bring a championship home.
Tony, I ask you this. Do you think this team is mature enough to win the World Series?
I think so. I think you've got guys like Manny, you've got guys like Juan Soto, you've got Tatis coming back. He's going to be coming back from the PED suspension in late April. I think that'll give them enough time to kind of get all their ducks in a row to go after that. I mean, I'll relate it back to football, back to my Eagles. You had all that talent come in there. Not necessarily question marks of maturity, but can all that blend? Can all that bond? Can they step up? Can Jalen Hurts step up? So you relate that back to the Padres. I think you can kind of have Manny take that same step. Can he step up, be a leader for that team? I think he can. I think they can have the maturity to win a title.
We talked about it earlier, Corey. Like, why not go all in on the Padres? And Tony did. So
no, doubt. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is a good round for the bet too as well. I like the juicy odds coming with the multiplier. So solid pick right here. We'll see what happens with this one.
Yeah, Padres win the World Series is a very real possibility. That's $250 in your pocket in terms of this draft, if that happens. Tyler Soto. Let's bring Tyler in. He had a baseball bet earlier. By the way, we're leaning a little more team now here, Corey. 3 team bets all in a row here as we get into the real money. Hey, Tyler, what's happening, man? How are you? Where are we going?
What's up? All right. So for my third pick, it's not going to be a team. It's going to be a person. And this is the one where I decided to put it in the third round. It is my longest odd. So if it hits, great. I won some money. If not, I didn't lose a whole lot. I only lost $25. I'm going to go Will Zalatoris to win the Masters in 2023. My thinking behind this is, number one, he always seems like he's streaky, but at the same time, when he plays really well, he plays really well. And the other thinking behind this is he's only played the Masters twice, but in both those times, he finished in the top 6. The first time he did it, he finished second. So I feel like at this point, it's only a matter of time. He's kind of due for it. So I think it's going to happen.
Corey, who has a better golf argument here?
This one right here, it's got some legs. And then it's at 19-1. This guy's going to win a major. You know what I'm saying? And he's probably going to do so shortly. Won the St. Jude's championship last year. 3 runner-up finishes in major championships. 19-1 to win the Masters. I like it. I like it in this round too. This is a difference-making pick right here. And I think it has a better shot at 19-1. Let's put it like this. That Sunday morning, the last round of the Masters, this won't be 19-1.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I kind of like this when you put it against Xander Schauffele in winning the U.S. Open, because you're talking about a guy playing the Masters on the same course those 2 times. It's going to be a 3rd time on the course. Whereas Xander Schauffele is playing in a style. You're looking more like, all right, this is a different country club every time we're talking about the U.S. Open. And it plays to his strengths, I guess. 2 very different golf future bets that logically are sound, I would say. This is pretty interesting. I wonder if
this one right here can do it. At, you know what I'm saying? You $25, you hit this one right here, then, it could make up for, the Ohio State mistake.
Oh, jeez, come on, man.
Let's bring it at him.
I had to leave him with a little parting shot. You know what I'm saying, Nando?
I think he understands that. Yeah, I got it. Adam, welcome back. What's happening? What do you do for 45 minutes that you're not on air? Just kind of hang out?
I just hang out, catch up on a couple of emails here and there, just
nice.
Paying attention to the picks.
Watch the draft.
All right.
All right, what do we got?
So Nick came close to sniping me. He was in the right ballpark with going with the Bruins to win the Cup, which is a good pick. But as producer Jared mentioned in the chat, the East is a bear. They're going to likely see Tampa in the second round, which is not a good matchup for them. And then in the conference finals, they would get the winner from the Metropolitan Division, which is also going to be a Carolina, a recently upgraded Rangers. So they have a tough fight in the East, whereas the West is a little more wide open. But back to the Bruins. Currently second in the NHL's goal scoring race to win the Rocket Richard is David Pastrnak. Connor McDavid leads the league right now in goal scoring, but I'm going to take Pasta to win the Rocket Richard at plus 225. The reason for that is even though Connor McDavid is clearly having an MVP season and will probably run away with the Art Ross trophy for most total points, Evander Kane came back maybe a few weeks ago, and he is a shoot-first winger, and he's on McDavid's wing, and they play well together. So while McDavid had a 0.84 goals per game average prior to Kane's return, that is now dropped down to 0.55. And not that McDavid's not going to have a ton of points, but he's going to start setting Kane up to shoot more, and Kane is going to start getting more of those goals that McDavid was getting. Meanwhile, if you look at David Pastrnak, who's already got 38 goals on the year and is averaging 0.79 goals per game, he leads the team with 38 goals. Next on the team is 16. So the offense clearly goes through David Pastrnak. The Bruins are going to continue to roll here. I like the Pastrnak to win the Rocket Richard at plus 225. I like that.
Yeah,
Adam, I really solid. Go ahead, Corey.
Solid right here as well. Good explanation. Good way to break it down. I did have some. I thought, listen, McDavid is minus $2 favorite to win the award, but with the return of Kane, you broke that down well. This $25 round, I like it being in this round as well. If maybe he could have started off round 4 and put a little bit more juice behind it, but I'm quite sure his next pick is going to be just as good. You know what I mean? So solid pick right here, Nando. Executive on ice. We whatever. I'm got it. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I got a follow-up question for you, Adam. I love the Kane logic. If I'm a bettor and I don't like Pastrnak, is there a alternate choice of someone who if you just love the reasoning behind Evander Kane coming in and messing things up for McDavid, but you don't love Pastrnak, is there another player dangling out there who maybe plus 500 with a shot, something like that?
So Jack Hughes from the Devils, if he didn't get hurt and is going to be out for some time, he would have been a good guy to look at to throw some money on. Tage Thompson from the Sabres has cooled off a little bit. Mikko Rantanen is the guy in Colorado. He that's been their leading goal scorer this year. With injuries that they've been dealing with, so the offense has kind of been running through him. But I think at this point it's a McDavid, Pastrnak. One of those two guys are going to be your best bets.
Still plus value. All right, cool. Let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to get into round 4 and 5. It's $50. That's real money, Corey, putting on these things.
Listen, stakes starting to get a little bit higher now, so we'll see what happens.
What do you predict? Do you think we're just going to get conservative, normalize things a little more, or is someone just going to be like, here's my 15-1, and I'm going to win the entire thing if this hits?
I think the wagers will get more conservative, but I still think that even though the wagers will get more conservative, going to be interesting to see what teams or players the drafters rely on to hit these higher dollar wagers.
I wonder if we see more as we've been pretty even with, I think, players versus teams in terms of futures. Do you think it's going to skew a little bit more to teams now because, they're a little more reliable, I guess, than just trying to pick a player in a race kind of thing?
I think so. I think we'll see more teams here, and I think we'll see more of the blue bloods of the sports world.
Stand by. Betting the futures on Bettor Sports Network. We'll be right back after this.
Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse on Bettor Sports Network.
Do you believe in the Madden curse? Do you think that's a real thing?
I did. Now, I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, but it was a real thing for a solid 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Peyton Hillis.
LT was never on the cover. I know that.
Was he not? I thought he was one. Okay, well, you do know all the covers of everything.
Yeah, okay. So if you want, I could do this real quick. So Garrison Hurst is the first official Madden cover athlete, 1999. 2000, I believe they still put John Madden on the cover. And then 2001 is where it all started. So 2001, you have Eddie George. 2002, Dante Culpepper. 2003, Marshall Falk. 04, Michael Vick. 05, Ray Lewis, first defensive player on the cover.
Okay.
06, Donovan McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
08, Vince Young. 09, Brett Favre.
Okay.
10 is a trick one because it's
no way you know.
And Larry Fitzgerald. 11, Drew Brees. 12, Peyton Hillis. 13, Calvin Johnson, I believe so.
You're right.
14.
No way you know all this.
14, also a trick question. I believe that's the Madden 25 cover, and it's Barry Sanders, unless you got it for the new consoles, in which case Adrian Peterson
Oh my God.
was on the cover.
You're not cheating. You're not looking at.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Okay, keep on going.
15, you have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
16. Oh, okay, hold on. 16 is Odell Beckham.
Okay.
16. 17. Now, this is the one I get mixed up because 17 and 18 are back-to-back Patriots.
They are.
17, I think, is Gronk, and 18 is Brady.
You are correct.
19 is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
20, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my goodness.
21, Lamar Jackson. 22, Brady Mahomes. 23, John Madden. But yeah, dude, I'm a cover nerd when it comes to this stuff.
We now know, but that was really impressive. I don't know how.
Thank you.
That's literally 29 of them or something like that. Wow, that is. You did not miss a single one, and you even got the special editions where they had 2 people on the covers.
Monday Night Rants on Bettor Sports Network.
This is the Bettor Sports Futures Draft on Bettor Sports Network.
Jokic setting screens. Ball fake with 9, stuffs it home.
Here are your hosts, Corey Parson and Nando Di Fino.
Welcome back, everybody. Bettor Sports Network, Corey Parson, Nando Di Fino. Thanks to the NBA for that footage. Well, I guess the audio. I don't know, footage could be audio. Can it? I don't think so. I don't know how that works.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome back. We're picking futures across the sports, whatever you love. Just to recap real quick, we're going round by round. It's a 5-round draft. It's a spin. It's a spin on the typical, I like this. First round's $1. Second round's 10. Third round's 25. Fourth round's 50. Fifth round's 100. Corey, before we jump back in with Adam, do you feel like maybe the first round, like maybe they should have like the first round should also be like 25. Maybe the first round should also be 100. God, it's to me like what's 8-1 betting $1 on it? You know what I mean? Or maybe the first round should be like a parlay, or have everyone build a parlay or something to make it more than like $8.
Oh, maybe you can have the each contestant assign their dollar value to the bet themselves, as opposed to placing it in a round. That is a way that you can go about it as well. But yeah, you definitely in that dollar round want to take some big shots, and we saw that with Alonzo in the Alonzo pick and the Harper pick and the Morant.
I don't think Alonzo's that much of a shot. Alonzo's a beast. Aaron Judge always gets hurt.
But it's 9-1, right? So you know that's a very good $1 bet. Yeah, you would want longer odds, but at 9-1, I'm fine with that.
I think Pete Alonso, I would love to see what a number would be, and I know it doesn't exist right now. Pete Alonso, member of the 500 home run club, when all the dust settles on his career. I wonder what would you put that at? 33-1? Nah, that's probably too high.
I mean, you're talking about longevity now. You're taking that into consideration. So
he's
that's
a pretty healthy guy. He's a fairly healthy guy, man.
Right now.
Yeah, but he's not like a big lumber, out of shape first baseman.
These things can change though.
Right, but I mean, someone's gonna hit 500 home runs again. You know what I mean? Like it's
no doubt.
Why not Pete Alonso? Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's bring Adam back. Adam, when he just left us, had done a hockey bet. He's a hockey guy. You stress staying in the wheelhouse.
Into the wheelhouse. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the stakes are higher. $50 this round, $100 next round per bet. So there's $150 to throw around on 2 bets left for everybody. Adam, what are we doing?
Let's go to the podium.
I'm going to go back to the NBA here. Nikola Jokic, plus 165 to win the NBA MVP. The last person to do it 3 times in a row was Larry Bird. I think Jokic is just having one of those years that, and I get the whole fatigue argument. When you look back at the history of NBA MVPs, there's a lot of guys that get to 2, but they don't get to 3. I just think, he had his 20th triple-double of the season the other night. He's averaging, 25, 12, and 2, and 10 or something like that. He's got the Nuggets at the top of a very tough Western Conference. I know some teams will close the gap there with Phoenix and Dallas making upgrades, but the Luka argument gets hurt with the addition of Kyrie, and I just think that he's worthy of getting it for the 3rd year in a row. So I'm gonna, like you said, we'll get a little more conservative here, but Jokic at plus 165.
So let me ask you this, right? I think you kind of led with the issue. The only other person the last person to do this was Larry Bird. Now you're in rear ear when you're talking 3 straight MVP awards. That is Larry Bird territory right there. I don't think Jokic is Larry Bird territory, but by the same token, if you average a triple-double, how do you not win the award?
Exactly. And listen, I understand that Giannis is going to be right there and Jason Tatum's going to be right there too. But at the end of the day, I mean, and maybe he loses a little bit there because he's out playing in the Mountain Time Zone versus those guys playing in the East a lot. But I just think he's having a year worthy of getting it for a third time in a row. He's unbelievable.
Well, I guess that bias didn't hurt him the first 2 times, right? So
Exactly.
all the excuses I think you can make there.
The second time, Nando, the back-to-back for Jokic was a lot. But listen, is it time that we just realize that this is one of the best offensive players of all time? That's what it looks like right now. And he does it so easily. I would want more points per game, but it's hard to go against this. So I think
let's demand more from a 2-time reigning MVP.
Who's averaging a double? Who's averaging a triple-double?
Here's what I want to see more of, please.
Yeah, it's a good pick right here. I like it.
All right, nice. Let's move along to Tyler Soto, who's had some interesting picks, man. He's skipping through all kinds of sports here. We got golf. We got college football. Yeah.
Little Major League Baseball, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he has an attitude with the host, you know what I mean? Right. but the last round was one of the best picks of the draft in Zalatoris. So let's see what you got now.
All right, so for my $50 pick, it's a little bit of a long shot again, but it's another long shot I fully believe in. And we're going to go to baseball, and I have Aaron Nola winning the NL Cy Young at plus 1,300. He's finished with Cy Young votes in 3 years of his career, 2018, 2020, and 2022. Last year, he did finish 4th. Now, this is interesting because Keith picked Max Fried earlier. Fried finished 2nd. Nola finished 4th. Now, there's a couple guys ahead of him. Alcantara, I don't think he gets it again. I don't think we really see back-to-back Cy Young winners as far as I can remember. Corbin Burns, I don't trust him necessarily in Milwaukee. I don't think Verlander gets it again. I don't think Scherzer gets it again in his career either. So then you have Fried and Aaron Nola. And this is where it gets a little bit interesting because they both pitch in the same division in the NL East. And they both have teammates on that pitching staff that could steal potential votes away from them. For Nola, it's Zach Wheeler, and for Fried, it's Spencer Strider. But I think Nola edges out Fried and wins the Cy Young.
Corey, this is if this plays out.
This is a play to win right here.
I was going to say this is a very real possibility, and 13-1 at $50. I mean, who cares? Like that's just you've basically destroyed everything else. It's like hitting that bottom thing in Angry Birds, where everything just keeps toppling. It's just over.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Like, yeah, you've completely canceled out every other bet anyone has placed if Nola wins the Cy Young Award.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
And no, it's an interesting strategy. A player award for a pitcher at this dollar amount is tough. What is his? I'm not familiar. What is his health status? Is he going to? How many innings is he going to give?
He's pretty good. He get 220 actually in a good year.
If he's a guy that can give you 220 innings at 13-1 to win an award that he is placed for as recently as last season and 4 times, I believe is what Tyler said in the past. Solid bet right here. Good way to go with a longer shot when the rest of this round will probably be conservative.
This is the National League Cy Young race. Is pretty wide open too, man. I mean, like Zach Wheeler's among the favorites. Yeah. Zach Gallen, Joe Musgrove. Like you got Logan. I mean, this is a very real possibility here. I would go all the way down to Julio Urias at 20-1 maybe as my dark horse, but I mean, a 13-1 Aaron Nola seems way more viable. I would think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And for the record, he did go 205 innings last year, I believe. So in the 3 seasons where he did get Cy Young votes, did 212 innings, 71 innings, but that was in the COVID season.
That was the year.
And then 205 last year. So I think it has legs, man.
All right, Tyler, I think Corey, when the
Solid.
dust settles on this, it's gonna have my check mark next to Tyler.
This is a good one right here. This is the last 2 rounds. Tyler's last 2 rounds are better than his first 2 rounds.
Well, we'll see for number 5 in a little while. Let's check out on Tony. Tony LaBarba went in on the Padres. Last time we saw him, he's got an interesting coterie as well here, man. Jean Morant, Xander Schauffele, the Padres.
Yeah, interesting. Definitely interesting. Let's go to the podium and see what the Philadelphia Eagle fan has for us now.
All right, I'm going to go back-to-back team picks here. I'm going to jump over to the NBA, and I'm going with the Denver Nuggets at plus 800 to win the NBA title this year. I like what they've got. I got the Bucks coming out of the East. I don't think anyone in the West scares me to take the Nuggets, aside maybe the Suns now that they have Durant. I got the Bucks coming out of the East. I would love to see a Jokic and a Giannis matchup. That would be just, I think, a awesome. Hopefully a 7-game series with that. But I think the Nuggets just have a better team than the Bucks, so I've got them taking the NBA title.
Listen, obviously the Nuggets are a very popular bet. We've seen Jokic, we've seen the Nuggets, and heard this name and this team a couple times. So far, solid round to do it into. You know what I'm saying? You get that multiplier with the $50 bet right here. I worry about how competitive the Western Conference is going to be. You know what I'm saying? With MVP candidates, Luka, and now you bring Durant into the conference, Kyrie Irving into the conference. So it's not just the Nuggets going up against the younger teams like the Grizzlies and the Kings. Now you got veteran champions coming into the conference, and Kyrie and Kevin Durant. So it's going to be tough to do it, but once again, a solid a wager right here, and it could really help help Tony's bankroll. So I don't think the Nuggets are going to win the championship, but I can definitely see that this number will get shorter as we move through the spring and into the summer.
I would think it would be less trendy than the Suns too, right? With Durant now, like I would see a lot of money coming into the Suns.
You're going to get better odds on the Nuggets than you have all season, no doubt.
Nice. All right, let's move on to Nick Durst. Nick with the 4th pick of the 4th round, the $50 pick. So far has the Nuggets winning the West. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm trying to go backwards. Nuggets winning the West, the Bruins winning the Stanley Cup, and Pete Alonso winning the home run title.
Yeah, so far pretty solid. So let's head back out to the island of Staten and let's see what we got, Nick.
All right, so you mentioned it, Corey, at the top. Very versatile drafter. So far, going with the big sports here. Now I'm going to an individual sport, the first of that type of pick for me here. So I am going with Novak Djokovic to win the U.S. Open this summer at plus 135. Here's why, guys. He wasn't allowed to play in the tournament in 2022. He was not allowed in the country. He wasn't allowed to be in the country and play in the Australian Open in 2022. Comes back in 2023 and gets revenge and wins the tournament with ease. Don't make the Joker mad. It is bad news for the competition, and he will win the U.S. Open. He has the most Grand Slams of all time, and he wasn't even able to play that much last few seasons. When he steps on the court, he says to the competition, "It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me." At tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting always rooting for the anti-hero. This is virtually a lock, so I don't mind putting down the $50 on this.
Well, why not save it for 100, Nick?
Because my $100 bet is even better, and you'll see if I get to it.
So I would listen. This is a guy who's won this tournament 3 times, right? And you're getting him at plus odds. Nick, is he the favorite?
He is the favorite, yes.
Yeah, you're getting the favorite at plus money in this round right here. I think it's a solid look right here. I have no problem. I have no problems with this pick right now. I don't know much about the.
I was going to say he's playing
angry,
angry on a hard court like that. I mean, that's going to be you can kill somebody. You can kill a spectator.
Just think. I know you guys aren't tennis guys. I'm not huge either, but think about how Tom Brady played after the whole Deflategate. He came back from suspension, wins the MVP. They won the Super Bowl. So He's in the same mindset right now, Djokovic.
Good narrative right there. I like it. Solid pick.
That's a good narrative. All right, let's go to Keith for his last pick of the 4th round. We'll take a break. We'll hit the wheel and then hit the $100 round after that. Keith, welcome back to the show.
All right.
Keith's had some fun. Actually, we've been full of fun picks. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I'm trying to have some fun with these picks. I'm not going chalk. I'm not going to be super dusty with all these chalk picks.
Are you saying that Nick is going chalk?
Yeah, I'm saying a little chalky over there. Just a little. Chalky.
Okay. More shots fired.
So we started off this round with Adam's pick of Jokic, and I'm going to go directly head to head with him, and I'm picking Joel Embiid to win the MVP. Plus 300. Listen, the guy was a follow-up to the MVP twice behind Jokic. I think there's severe voter fatigue. See Derrick Rose over LeBron, see Steve Nash over LeBron. Like, if they didn't give it to LeBron, they're not going to give it to Jokic. So I'm convinced that it's going to be Embiid. I don't think Doncic, now that he has Kyrie, that's going to lessen his chances. I think Giannis is still a chance that he could do it, especially with the injuries on the team. But I think Embiid's going to win it this year.
So, Nando, I think this is the best pick of this round.
All right, yeah.
Because the Jokic Embiid I think it's a real thing. And I think Keith spoke to that well. Each of the last 2 seasons, this award would have probably went to Joel Embiid if it wasn't for late season injuries. Now, Jokic, nothing against him, but Embiid's dominant big man too. I think Embiid is going for the award. I think he wants to win it. I think he's in a spot where he's going to have Philadelphia, probably the best 76er team we've seen, maybe since their championship era, to be honest with you. I think Joel Embiid, I think he plays angry the second half of the season after, not being an all-star starter. Now, the Jokic, the Jokic MVP in this round and the Djokovic, right? Both coming in that plus 135 to 165 range. You're getting plus 330 for the guy who was the runner-up of this award the last 2 years, losing it basically to the same guy. So I think this is a real good pick right here.
Is there wasn't the thing against? Sorry, go ahead, Keith.
Oh yeah, I was going to say the only concern I have for this is that Embiid has missed I think 12 games, and there's only been one MVP to that won, and they missed 11 games. So that's the only concern I really have is him missing time.
Yeah.
Was the problem?
That's what it's been the last 2 years.
It's not centers, right? Like centers never win. Kind of. It wasn't that the problem with Embiid preseason?
It's like he's a big man, and Jokic is a big man too. And we've seen Shaq win the award. So a big man can be dominant, especially a big man like Joel Embiid, who is friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like a giant teddy bear type guy. You know what I'm saying? Not like an intimidator or something like that. So listen, I like it. I think it was the best pick of the round right here. So solid pick right here.
All right. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. That ends round 4. We're gonna go up to $100 now, and I guess see what people are made of. Is it gonna get conservative? Is it gonna get a little more fun? Can anyone top Aaron Nola at 1,300? I don't know, man. That's it. If it happens, that's it.
Right yep. Mm-hmm.
But if you're like doing like what Nick does and slow and steady wins the race, man, maybe you just keep. Maybe the winner of this will have $76. You know what I mean, Corey? It's who knows?
You're right. You're right, because we're taking long shots. We're putting $1 on long shots, putting 10. You know what I'm saying? 25, whatever. But maybe it's Jack putting 100 on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Whatever, putting 100 on something with that's minus 165. And
yeah,
maybe
I mean,
$65 can win it. You're right.
These aren't meant to be easy. You know what I mean? Like this is people don't win futures all the time. Anyway, we're hoping some of us do here, though. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with the final round of the futures draft.
Moose and Keith. Weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
The word genius is there. Bob Glover, it describes him. Bob, so when's the last time that Twitter defeated you? Because I've been defeated by Twitter today.
I'll tell you how Twitter defeated me one time. I had the mistaken impression that the year that Troy Polamalu won the Defensive Player of the Year, it looked like it was going to go to Clay Matthews Jr. and I tweeted it. And there was a guy on the media bus. He was like, "Oh yeah, he's got it. A guy I trust." I won't tell you who it was, but his initials are Mike Garofalo. So I went with it. Got a DM from Rich Eisen, NFL Network. He goes, "You sure about that?" I go, "Oh man. Oh, I just got this wave because like accuracy to me is really important. So I'm literally on the media bus. We're just getting back from media day. We are slipping and sliding in Dallas. It's snowing. I get off the bus. I open my laptop. I'm hunched over, and I just like literally people are passing me. Bob, what's wrong? And it was Palomalu, and Adam Schefter had retweeted me. Trey Wingo had retweeted me. I'm like, oh, I'm dead.
So when it's Palomalu, then how do you handle that? Like, what was the subsequent tweet
I think
afterwards?
I said, got some bad Twitter info. I didn't put Garofalo's name on there. I had to
10 years later, you can out him. I like that. Yeah.
You know, he wouldn't mind that. He knows the stories.
Yeah.
He actually said to me, "Hey, Bob, I think you might have jumped the gun on that." I was like, "Oh, crap." There we go.
Campus to Canton on the Bettor Sports Network.
Would Dion bench Shador?
I don't think he would.
Like, how bad would it have to be? Because we've seen horrendous quarterback play from this Colorado team for the last, 5 years? JT Shroud, Brandon Lewis, just terrible quarterback play. Like, they were 131st, which is dead last in pass EPA per play. Obviously, it will be better, but how bad does it have to be for him to bench his own son? Like, I'm not sure he will ever either. Like, especially with the attitude that he came in with.
If they don't get Rashada, who do they bench him for this year anyway? I don't know that there's another answer on that roster that you go to. They don't really have a guy behind him. So I don't even know if we would know the answer to that until the next year, assuming that, he doesn't declare for the draft, he returns, they bring somebody else that's competent and behind him.
If they're going to do this the Lincoln Riley way, next year would be the class to bring somebody in. Shador Sanders is going to be a third-year player. So he's going to play 2023. I don't think he's declaring for the 2024 NFL draft. So he's going to play in 2024 and then declare for the 2025 NFL draft. And let's remember this. He hasn't had a full recruiting cycle at Colorado. He will have that next recruiting cycle. So maybe he could get one of these class of 2024 quarterbacks there to come to Colorado.
However you're invested in sports, from betting to fantasy, collectibles, and more, join our community on Bettor Sports Network.
This is the Bettor Sports Futures Draft on Bettor Sports Network.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Big time pitch by Aaron Nola.
Here are your hosts, Corey Parson and Nando Di Fino.
Welcome back, everybody. Little Aaron Nola for you. Thank you, MLB Network. MLB, whichever arm of MLB that's from. Corey, we're about to finish up. A final round. We're not finished. Yeah, we got some time left. But we are going to finish up the final round here. It seems like every time we try to guess the strategy, we guess wrong. So maybe we should stop that. This is a weird beast all of its own, It's
no doubt. I would expect super duper conservatism in this round right here, but maybe there is a home run that's mispriced that we feel good about. So it's going to be interesting to see where everybody goes.
Well, that's why I like the 1,300 Aaron Nola in the $50 round. Because then you can still have the $100 one to fall back and be conservative on. Like, should you try and go for the 150 and go conservative in both? I mean, if you're kind of, if you play it right in those earlier rounds, you're close enough, I think.
That Aaron Nola was solid. The Aaron Nola was very solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think we would have gone Julio Urias there, just do on 20-1. I'm not a Nola guy. I'm not Aaron Nola.
It's a little long. It is a little long shot-ish. That's why it's 13-1 for a reason, but I think there is some value in it.
I like the idea. I don't like the pitcher. So that's wrong.
Okay.
Anyway, let's rock and roll. Final round. These are $100 futures bets. Let's forget about the draft. These are $100 futures bets right here from 5 people who know what they're talking about. How about that, Corey? How about
let's
that?
Do it.
Put some weight to it. All right, let's go. Keith, you're up. Let's hear what you got, man, for your final pick. $100 on any futures bet. What's it going to be?
Yeah, I think this is might be one of my most risky picks, and I have a lot of faith in it. I think it's going to come true, but you know what? It's called gambling for a reason, and I want to have some fun with it. So I am picking the Seattle Mariners to win the AL West, plus 300. I love the young roster. I think taking Verlander away from the Astros, which is literally the win total between the two teams, 16 wins. Verlander had 17. I don't think the Astros are going to be able to replace the Verlander production. And the additions of good bats in that lineup, Teoscar, Wong, also Julio. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name at this moment.
Julio Rodriguez?
Yes, thank you. I blanked on his name. Julio Rodriguez, he is considered by some to be a potential MVP candidate. So this team is primed for takeoff. They have young starting pitchers who had very solid seasons, and maybe they could take that next step. And I think the Astros are going to come back down a little bit to earth.
So you got a division with a dominant team, right? That's number one, and I understand the reasoning. But here's the thing. This is one of the most popular MLB futures. And when I see heavily bet futures, I worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Here's my deal, Keith. I would have liked this at plus 400, plus 500, plus 600. I think the odds are too short. I think the odds should be longer than 3-1 for the Mariners to take over the AL West from the Houston Astros. That'd be my thoughts on it. So I would think that you would have had, to me, the number's not long enough if I'm taking this wager right here, but I really don't have a problem with it. Nando, what's your thoughts on it?
I love it, man. Like we mentioned it earlier about, how they were, I think, the 8th favorite. I think the Astros last year, everything that went right for them went right. Even the good vibes, everyone wanted to see Dusty Baker win a World Series. That team, man, was kind of old. They lost some pieces that people are underrating. Carlos Correa's gone. We're talking about Justin Verlander. Well, Carlos Correa's been gone for a year anyway. But still, you could still feel the after effects of that. Gurriel's gone, and he was kind of a glue there. It's just like, I look at that team, and I look at, they're almost like, people are dumping on the Dodgers for losing a lot of talent. I don't think people are looking at the Astros as closely. And just like what went right last year for them was basically everything around every corner. Mariners are young and they're hungry and they're good, man.
I don't think they're an over 100 win team this year. The Astros. I mean, they'll be in the 90s. I think Seattle can compete with that. I think it's very possible for them to win it.
The Mariners. I would have gone a step further, man. I would have just gone World Series. Let's do it. They got the pitching. They got young, strong, electric pitching to get there, man. Let's rock on to Nick Durst. Nick, we have a pick. Corey, I would call this.
Hey, Keith, thanks a lot, man. Good draft.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Corey, I don't know. Plus 300 for Mariners to win the AL West, I would consider still semi-conservative, by the way. For the $100 round, to turn that just into $300, I think that's pretty within the scope of what we thought was going to happen so far.
I would want to see something that has been done before.
Yeah.
Right? So I would think, with me, Mariners to win the AL West, give me plus 500 in round 3.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it. But, whatever. We'll see.
No, you're right. I know what you're saying. I would have thought 300 was someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's too short. I think that's too short for a team that hasn't done it yet. But time will tell.
What's it telling us, though, man? I mean, like, you look at it's not like Washington is a huge online betting state. You know what I mean? Like, where like the numbers might be tilted a little bit.
I think it's real popular. Like coming into the NBA season, the Detroit Pistons over was very popular. I think when you see those real popular futures, like the Los Angeles Chargers to win the AFC West, when you see those real popular futures and they get bet down to short numbers, to me, that's a stay away spot.
It's probably Julio Rodriguez is the poster boy for tops. They're pushing him
then
hard.
Why not Julio Rodriguez to win the MVP?
You could do that. It's plus 700, I think.
Maybe that is the shot right there.
Yeah, maybe that's it. All right, let's move it along to Nick Durst. Nick, your $100 future bet. Probably interesting. Corey, what do you think?
That should be interesting. Let's see what it is.
All right, Nick.
All right, guys. For the first time since 1973, a basketball team will be champion in New York. It's the best basketball team in New York. No, it's not the Nets, and it's definitely not the Knicks. It is the super team of the New York Liberty, who are going to be the WNBA champs at plus 150. They got Breanna Stewart coming in to join Sabrina Ionescu. They got Jonquel Jones. They signed Courtney Vandersloot. It is a no-doubter. So even though the odds aren't that great, it is worth the $100 bet for me to make that profit. So with liberty and justice for all New Yorkers, the Liberty will be champs.
Now, here's the deal. Now, I handicap Nick perfectly.
Yeah.
I talked about his range, right?
Yep.
And I talked about his issue, maybe his loyalty to New York. And now, with the bag on the line, he goes to the New York Liberty. You know what I'm saying? The weakness of being New York centric is going to bite him in the 5th round. He waited till the biggest moment to make the mistake.
Pick? The Liberty aren't even the favorite in the WNBA.
Do any New York basketball team win championships? Now you mean to tell me that the Liberty at plus 150? And yes, we are going into the WNBA era of super teams.
Right.
But this number is too short for a team that hasn't won anything.
They have four of the 10
You still got
the
the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah, they're getting in some trouble here. If you saw some off the court issues, so stay away from that. They're the favorites, so I didn't want to take the favorites. I could have put the money on Ohtani here, which I considered for MVP, but I think he might get traded. So if he gets traded to the NL, that DQs him. So I wanted to just play it safe here with my money on something that I think is very realistic. I didn't feel comfortable betting an MLB team to win a championship or betting an NBA team to win a championship. So I went, if you look here, I'm very happy with my draft. Alonso pick. He's not the favorite to get the home runs leader, but he plus 900. I got the favorite in the NHL to win the championship at plus 450. I'm very happy with the way my draft.
And listen, I think it came out. I think the first 3 rounds were about as good as it can get. I think the last 2. Listen, I think the tennis pick is solid. This one right here, because I like the Aces a lot. Maybe it's just me. I do think the Liberty are in the final. I would have wanted this at plus 250, plus 300. That's all I'm saying.
I like this pick initially, and the more that I think about it, remember when the Lakers brought in like Karl Malone and Gary Payton, and that was like that super team. They couldn't play together.
They were all people. Malone was at the end. Peyton was at the end.
That's true too. But Nick, super teams normally don't work.
Is Stewart in her prime? How old is Stewart?
Stewart's probably 28, 29.
Oh, I was thinking more like 34. Hold on a second. We're gonna look this up.
She's only been league like 7 years.
Ionescu is the best player. They bring in Vandersloot.
You didn't even bring up the Maureen Johans, who I've been trying to buy her card for weeks, and it doesn't exist. So. Nothing out there.
Should be out soon.
Listen, Joe Tsai, he's very motivated to win now after his Nets blew up on him. So this is his team, the Liberty. He's going all in. They had a press conference for all these players the day after they trade Durant. So obviously they're just all about the Liberty right now. And if any team's going to win an NBA, if any team's going to win a basketball championship in New York, it's probably going to Liberty because the Knicks have no shot and the Nets have no shot.
She's 28.
Two right there.
Nick Durst wins, man. She's 28 years old.
All right. Solid draft. I like it. Solid draft. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see how it plays out. But I do like a lot of your selections.
I was way off on Breanna Stewart. I feel like she's been around forever. All right. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks for injecting some WNBA into the show.
Yeah.
All right, Tony.
When she was in college, it wasn't counting against her.
Okay.
That's why.
Maybe that's it.
Because you knew her as a college basketball player. That's why.
No. She's from Syracuse. I remember when she was in high school.
So even
like
that
might
more,
be it. Like I might have just added some years on because
of your length of how long you've known about her.
Yeah, you read Syracuse.com every day like me, and you hear Breanna Stewart's name a bunch, and you're like, wow.
No doubt.
She's been around for a while. I was wrong, and I apologize. All right, let's see what Tony LaBarbera is going to do to finish this up. I don't know if I'm on Tony or Tyler. Nick is too tortoise in the hair for me. He's too tortoise. You know what I mean? And not in a bad way because that's probably going to win the whole thing. And that's my problem with the betting. Yeah. All right, let's see what Tony does.
All right, fellas, I'm going back to the well. I'm going back to the golf world. And this is why I like betting golf, because of the value that you can get. I'm going to take Rory McIlroy to win the Masters at plus 750. the value they can get. If I can get Rory at plus 750 at a major, those are really, really good odds. Not only is he in form heading into major season, he's already got a win on the PGA Tour. He's got a win on the DP Tour, which used to be the European Tour. I mentioned the elevated events earlier, so he's playing against better talent in some of these events leading up to the majors, and he's got a good track record at Augusta. He's got 6-7 top 10 finishes there. He does have the monumental meltdown there about 10 years ago, where he had a 6-7 8-stroke lead in the final round and just completely crapped the bed and lost the tournament. But it's the final leg that he needs to complete the career Grand Slam. So he really wants them. He is a student of golf. He loves the history of golf. So he knows getting the career Grand Slam for him puts him in that upper echelon, not touching Tiger or Jack Nicklaus, anything like that. But that puts him in some rarefied air as opposed to some of the other top guys still playing now.
If he doesn't win it, why won't he win it?
I think his bugaboo there has been putting. Putting at Augusta, the greens at Augusta are it's like putting on glass there. So I think that's been his main concern. He's been a little bit erratic off the tee at Augusta. Well, they've just lengthened the course again with some of the holes there as well. But I mean, Rory's one of the best drivers of the golf balls of the last 20, 30 years. So I don't have any issues there, especially like I said, him coming into major season with some form and some playing against some of the top competition.
Hey, Tony, when we're looking at golf and say we don't know much about it, and I know we haven't had enough yet, but is live, I mean, like iron sharpens iron kind of stuff. Is the fractured 2-tour format here going to hurt some guys who aren't having the highest of competitions in some of these secondary or third tertiary tier tournaments? Like, is that again, like, I don't know, we don't have a lot of data to go on, but looking forward, maybe, is there just like, you're not used to the pressure because the field's not as good, at the back end, you got these guys who probably shouldn't be playing in tournaments just to fill it out. Is that going to affect golf? Are you going to be able to really get into like who's clutch and not in this? Because of that?
I think the opposite. I think golf is so deep and such. There are so many good golfers that it's going to give us the chance to see some guys like Nick Taylor finished second at the Waste Management Phoenix Open this past week. That guy is a really, really good golfer. So I think it's going to give us the opportunity to see more guys like that and kind of those guys shine a little bit more as opposed to a 45, 50-year-old Phil Mickelson who hasn't played well aside from the PGA Championship a couple years ago when he won at 50. He's a name. He's a very great name, but he hasn't been that good for the past few years. He's selling tickets because of his name. So I think it's going to give us a chance to see guys who are really, really good, a little bit younger, that can go on like a Will Zalatoris a couple years ago, like a Justin Thomas, who won a couple times and then finally had that breakthrough.
Gotcha. Awesome. To golf. That's good. That's wheelhouse. That's what Corey was talking about.
Yep, there you go right there. So we'll see if it happens. So solid draft, good picks. I like a lot of what you did on the draft board. I think your third round pick with the Padres, and then listen, this the third and the second and the third, I think, are your two strengths. So we'll see what happens. I think it was a solid draft.
Good job, Tony. Thanks, Tony. Let's go to Tyler Soto. Tyler, right now, for me, the clubhouse leader, just because of his IDGAF attitude.
No. Tyler, real strong in rounds 3 and 4. So hopefully he can finish off strong.
So this one is, I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit of a long shot, but it's
although I don't appreciate his back end corrections and amplifications. So I'm going to document points for that.
All right. But it is a little bit of a long shot, and it's a long shot I firmly believe in, and I will explain why. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to win AL MVP at plus 1,500.
This is what I'm talking about.
He's trying to win.
My reasoning is this. So you look at the people ahead of him. There's Yordan Alvarez. People, the baseball purists and the voters, they like people who play the field. Yordan is mostly a DH, okay? He can hit bombs. He has great numbers, but they like people who play the field. Julio Rodriguez, I'm going to say he goes into a sophomore slump. I'm just going to take a guess right there. Aaron Judge, I don't think he wins it again. Mike Trout, too injury prone at this part of his career. The favorite is Shohei Ohtani at plus 200. Not only do I think he gets traded before the trade deadline, but I think he gets traded to the National League, in which case that throws the American League MVP out the window. So right behind all those 5 dudes is Vlad Guerrero Jr., who's been in Cy Young voting twice in his 4-year career, came in second to Shohei in 2021. Toronto is a very hitter-friendly stadium. He also plays in a division where they have very hitter-friendly ballparks, New York, parts of Boston, Camden, now that they've Camden did push that ball back, so maybe not that one. But then he has a Trop too, and the Trop is very, it's a very hitter-friendly ballpark. I think Vlad Guerrero has a very strong case and chance to win AL MVP.
I like
solid.
I mean, we're talking.
Listen,
go ahead, Corey.
If Tyler hits any of these bets, it's a good chance that he's going to win. There you go, right there. So, he's either going to be bankrupt or he's going to win the whole joint. Now, in the Guerrero pick, this is a guy who is placed in MVP voting in the American League before. You get him in a 15-1 with the 5th shortest odds. I like the way you broke down the candidates in front of him. Solid wager right here. Not the strategy I would have took, but hey, all you gotta do is see me. I'm trying to hit 3 of the 5, right? He just need to hit 1.
Right. That's the way I would play this too. Actually, that's why I think I'm drawn to these picks, because not necessarily the picks. Again, like I do like the Vlad reasoning. Did Toronto mess with their walls too? Didn't they, to bring the fans closer?
I believe they did a little bit. So they probably brought the walls in just a tiny bit. But hey, that all adds more to his home run total. I mean, you got to remember, in the past 2 years, this dude hit 32 home runs last year, and he hit 48 the year before. He's only 4 years into his career.
Yeah, but he was playing in Dunedin, wasn't he? Dunedin.
I mean,
has any Blue Jay ever won the MVP? Probably just maybe George Bell. That's really it, right?
Joe Carter.
No, Joe Carter, I think, was World Series MVP.
Probably just George Bell.
I'd have to go back and look at that. Yeah,
maybe
I only know
George Bell won MVP, man.
Yeah,
that's when I was locked in. Nando, I had the back of the baseball card.
I know, the 82. I remember that. I remember the George Bell. There you go. Josh Donaldson probably in 2015.
Donaldson,
yeah.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, I'll say Josh Donaldson in 2015. All right, let's move on to Adam Bernard as we wrap this up. Tyler, man, I'm a fan. I'm liking this. This is, but it will spell our doom because I'm horrible at betting. But yeah,
I appreciate it. And Corey, you'll be getting texts from me throughout the year, letting you know I was right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Tyler said he's setting up calendar alerts. Just be okay. April 17th, Masters.
Tyler's got receipts, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right, man. Good luck. Let's bring up Adam Bernard to wrap a little bow on this. Let's see who's crack-lacking here. Adam, welcome back, friend.
Good to be back.
I'm going to guess, knowing you and having you produce this is probably going to be a nice, safe hockey bet.
You are on the money, my friend. So I am going to take the Vegas Golden Knights to win the NHL Pacific Division at plus 240. I like to go process of elimination here, so let's look at the Pacific. Anaheim, San Jose, Vancouver all suck, have no chance at winning the division. Calgary at 61 points right now. Could they make the playoffs? Absolutely. They haven't done enough this year to make me think that they have any shot at the division. Moving up in the standings. Edmonton and Seattle, both very good teams. Neither really have the goaltending, I think, to really separate themselves. So now we get to the top 2 teams with Vegas and Los Angeles. Now, LA right now is plus 500. The last time I checked, to win the division. That would not be a bad bet to place. However, Vegas right now has probably been one of the more consistent teams in the league since the season started. Right now, they have a game in hand and a point lead over the Kings, which is a little negligible. But when you look at the schedules down the stretch, and anything can change, they have 7 what I would call gimme games versus the Kings 5. And the other part of this is the Golden Knights are about to put one of their heavier contract players on long-term injured reserve, Mark Stone. That frees up a lot of cap space for them to go big game hunting at the NHL trade deadline, which comes up on March 3rd. And I think they're going to get the biggest name out there, which is Timo Meier. And if they get him, put your money in now at plus 240 before it goes down even further.
All right, solid right here. Listen, I look at Adam, right? And let me ask you just about this final pick. Let me ask you a question. If they don't, if this bet right here, Vegas to win the Pacific at plus 240 doesn't hit, why?
Right now, their starting goaltender, Logan Thompson, is week to week with an injury, although I do think he'll be back in time to make a difference. Aiden Hill has been a solid backup for them, and he's going to get the load for the next couple of weeks here. That would be the reason. The Kings are a pretty good team, and that would be, if anybody snipes them for it, I think it would be Los Angeles. They are also looking to be active at the deadline, although I don't think they're going to make as big a move as Vegas. And the West is wide open right now too. So either division you want to place a bet, there's really not. The West is super wide open right now. It's not like the East where you're looking at Boston and Carolina.
Nando and Adam, I think it's a very smart draft. I think it was planned out right. I like rounds 3, 4, and 5 more than I like rounds 1 and 2. So I think Adam is in the mix as well.
I feel like everyone's in the mix here. This $100 round is so interesting.
And everyone's in the mix, but
not to be a wimp about it. I'm just saying, like I haven't decided like which way. Like, I'm looking at it like this: my $100, right? If I'm looking at these 5 selections we have, the Mariners, the Liberty, Rory McIlroy, Vlad Jr., and Vegas, I think if we're talking real money and not a draft and a game, number 1, I would put on the Liberty. Number 2, I would go with Vegas. Then I think I would go Mariners, then Vlad, then McIlroy. And that's probably because I don't know enough about golf. I'm not confident in my golf. But the other 4, so I do feel like, I don't know, man. Like,
of the final round, I think Vegas to win the Pacific is the best pick of the final round.
But that is the multiplier, right? Like that is, yeah,
which is probably the most important one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, as you move up, I think it's different ways that you can go and you look at it. You know what I mean? But I think Adams, the last pick, was the best pick of this round. So that's where I would leave it for this round right here. I think every round kind of tells its own story. And I think, you can see kind of what everybody was trying to do and their strategy. Adam stuck in his wheelhouse and he went conservative as it moved along. So I think I just wish, his first 2 rounds were more long shotty.
But I mean, this is why I was saying I wish the first couple rounds had a little more weight to them. You know what I mean? Like if you could come out swinging with a $50 bet in the first round, then dip down to 10, 25, come back up to 50 and 100, I think it would change the strategy a lot. Like a $1 bet's so boring, man. Like who cares, right?
Well, that's why you want to hit the big one. That's why you want to hit the big one. That's why the Harper MVP and the Alonso to lead the Major League Baseball in home runs, I think, are the 2 best picks right there. Because that Harper $1 bet, that comes back, that's a bankroll booster right there. So I kind of like the different strategies and the way it was done. So I had no problems with
I guess,
the
but
majority.
if Harper's 40 to 1, and say you got your $50 level, you got a Jokic to win MVP, the Harper thing's gone because you're completely blasted it out of the water already, plus 165 with a $50 bet. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Well, I think that's one thing you got to take into consideration. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're doing a guy. I mean, like you said, the last person to win back-to-back MVPs was Larry Bird.
Well, I was just picking something with odds, like just to imagine a plus 130 bet that you could have thrown in there. Yeah.
Got it.
You're blown out. All right. This is fun, Corey. It was so great being back with you. My God, I missed you.
Yeah, same.
Thanks to Heather and Jared behind the scenes for running this. Thanks to everybody who drafted, everybody who's watching. We hope this is fun. Maybe give you something to think about, talk about, feel about. Corey?
And something
see you again, my friend.
Something for Heavy T to text me about.
Yeah. We hope you all enjoy this. Thank you for joining us. This was the Futures Draft. We'll probably have more of these, so stay tuned. Bettor Sports Network. Get the app. Check us out online. We love you all.